Sex. We usually think of sex like this, or like this, or like this. But what if there was nothing short of a completely different way of experiencing sexuality? Instead of speeding up, you slow down. Instead of getting worked up, you relax. Instead of holding on, you let go. What if you stopped thinking with your genitals? What if instead of focusing on turning on sex organs, there was a way to tune in to the limitless possibilities of the mind?
Four, 3, 2, 1. Coming soon.
Could it be that by going into deep states of calm, you could open a door to a whole different kind of experience, one without conventional limits, with surprising healing benefits, that can also feel like the most intense pleasure imaginable? Sounds impossible. Maybe it is. But our story begins here, in the charming and beautiful city of Salzburg, famous for being the birthplace of the great composer Mozart, but to some better known as the place where they shot The Sound of Music. Salzburg is home perhaps to a virtuoso of another kind. This woman is currently an expert at experiencing hypnotic orgasms. She has had hundreds. Right now, she is having full sexual experiences without being touched, or without anyone else even being in the room. She used to have at best one orgasm in a night. Now she can have dozens. In a specific hypnotic trance, she seems to have almost endless orgasmic possibility. These orgasms have made her feel more confident, more healthy, and more beautiful. It's possible that many people could experience what she can. This is something the wider public doesn't know. This is why this film is being made. Christine Funk isn't just known for orgasms. She is a form of Austrian laughing royalty. She runs the largest laughter group in the country, and she's been nicknamed the Laughing Queen of Austria. Funk practices conscious laughter as a way to promote health and happiness. She said she got into laughter as a way of improving the happiness of her family after a stressful divorce.
Who am I? I'm Marie-Christine van Funk. I'm the Laughter Queen of Austria. Born and raised here, studied abroad, and now I'm back on a mission. I hold the largest laughter club in Austria. I'm a laughter yoga ambassador ever since the pandemic hit. And my mission is to spread joy no matter what. People ask me, why am I on this crazy mission? Welcome to Salzburg, Austria. Right behind me you can see the Festung Hohensalzburg, our castle. Can you imagine Hitler was born right over there, 50 kilometers from here. So let's change this world to make it more orgasmic, because a more orgasmic world would be a more peaceful world. Oh, we have some echo! Woo! Woohoo! You can hear it?
Funk even trained in yodeling, a kind of alpine emergency broadcast system.
And the reason why people were yodeling is to make contact from one top of the mountain to the other top of the mountain. Just to say hi, for example. People yodeled. So how is yodeling done? First of all, it also comes right from your belly. It should spread all over the country actually, so you make sure that your voice is loud and clear and full of confidence. I'm on this mission, just like yodeling, to shout out from the mountaintop, make orgasms, not make war. Orgasms, not make war.
But it's not all fun and games and yodeling for the Laughter Queen. Perhaps like the rest of us, her life has a serious side. Funk has been in a bit of a funk lately. Being a single mother of 2 children is not easy. She also has a challenging day job, and she experiences burnout. She lost her mojo. She feels weighed down and physically flat. That's when she said she tried something new.
Recently I joined a seminar about hypnotic sexuality, and this was mind-blowing and life-changing. There were a bunch of people and 2 hypnotists. They put us into deep relaxation, deep trance.
Relax your eyelids. Let go of any tension in your cheeks, your tongue, your jaw, your neck, so that there's no expression on your face.
And without being sexually stimulated or touched, we all experienced those hypnotic orgasms. It changed my life.
Just like that.
Because ever since I feel more empowered, balanced, more patient with my children and at work. I noticed a physical change in my body. My skin tone improved, my cheeks are very blushed now, I don't need to wear any makeup. My abdominals are stronger than before. And my overall well-being improved.
Funk is a very positive person, but she claims she isn't exaggerating about the effects of trance orgasms. She decided to try a weekly regimen of hypnotic orgasms to see what would happen.
My sex life, oh my god. It's much better now. I have those multiple orgasms. They are longer, stronger, more powerful. Even my boyfriend, he noticed the difference.
But even as her orgasm campaign became more public, Christine was unfazed.
So I'm not worried about what people say about me. I'm a very open person. My friends and my family support me. Even my grandmother, she was very excited that I'm on this mission now.
It isn't just the intense pleasure. It's the side effects, she says. It was hard to explain. When she told people about it, some people didn't quite believe her. It seemed impossible. But this is where I come in. As one of the hypnotists working with her, I had seen this before. I believed the phenomena was real. And I also felt like I was in possession of an important secret the world simply didn't know about. That it's possible to give people powerful orgasms just by talking to them. But there was a catch. Almost no one believed it was possible. People are already skeptical about hypnosis to begin with. When I did a TEDx talk, it went viral, partly because people thought it simply couldn't be real.
Awake and alert. If you can hear my voice and you know what's going on, you have the power to lift a finger on your right hand. You can do that now. If you can hear my voice, you can lift a finger on your right hand. So anyone in the audience who hears the word hypnotism will also shout, "It's fake." Okay, very good. So now, coming back into the room, feeling refreshed and relaxed, remaining in trance on the count of 3, 2, 1, when I snap my fingers. Now, when I am talking right now about hypnotism,
It's fake!
what I'm trying to illustrate is that hypnotism is not well understood.
I was skeptical about hypnosis too, until I had an experience that drove me straight to it. I was not a hypnotist exactly by choice. I have been a journalist for most of my life. And back during 9/11, I was working on a documentary about, actually had to do with the way people die. It was not a fun film. I actually got traumatized by a number of the images that appeared in this documentary. I knew this because I literally could not get the pictures out of my head. And so what I did is for months I lost sleep. I developed a kind of anxiety I'd never had before. And sort of as a last-ditch thing, I saw an ad for somebody offering help for people that had obsessive memories. I called a number, and within half an hour, I was talked through a particular process. The problem was resolved. It was instantly cured. I then discovered that it was hypnosis. And I was trained at hypnosis. I learned how to do it after that, and I thought, I gotta learn how to do this. I soon discovered that hypnosis was the real deal. But there was a lot of public confusion around it. If hypnosis is not well understood, hypnotic sexuality is an even bigger mystery. Sexuality itself is still taboo. I felt like there was more to this story. I did a talk at a conference titled, "There is Something You Don't Know About Sex." Virtually no one in the audience had heard of the phenomena before. You and anyone actually can have orgasms without being touched, without contact. Not only that, you can have them in unlimited numbers, and that a lot of people that have this experience describe it as being better than conventional sex. And what's really weird is this can be achieved by simple relaxation. I think the catch is it's a particular kind of very deep relaxation that brings this about. So I'm going to really try to explain this and lay it out for you because I think it has more implications. When I was studying hypnosis, I would often go and study shows that people did, and there's a phenomenon in late night, kind of like Las Vegas hypnosis shows, where you go to a show and at the end, sort of the closing crazy act, the hypnotist will announce that everyone on stage right now will have a massive orgasm. To give you an idea, this is what it looks like.
You feel my hand touch your shoulder. You will have the loudest, the wildest, the most powerful orgasm of your life!
Late-night stage hypnotists often close their shows by telling a row of hypnotized volunteers that they are all going to experience powerful multiple orgasms.
Ladies, when you hear me say the word bam, you're going to experience a mini orgasm. It's going to stop you in your tracks and almost buckle your knees.
Most powerful orgasm of your life.
Everybody was clapping and cheering, and I got up there and I blew up the house. It was like, bam! I was like, what the hell? Oh my God. It was like, what? I was having so much fun. It was like, bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It was feeling so good. I didn't want to get off stage. It was like, bam, bam.
What was happening here? Even after the show, volunteers seemed to continue to go into orgasmic states when they were tapped on the shoulder.
How does it feel? It feels.
What was really happening here? How could it be explained? And where did it come from? To the audience, this was insane comedy, but no one seemed to be asking, is this real? Las Vegas, possibly the world's most hypnotic city. Here, the world's top hypnotists meet every year for Hypnothoughts Live, the world's largest hypnosis conference.
As the general public, are they aware that people are having hypnotic orgasms at shows?
You know, I think the average person wouldn't even know that doing a hypnotic orgasm skit or bit at a show is even a thing. I think most people wouldn't believe it's even possible to have an orgasm without anyone maybe stimulating that genital area.
Touching you.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes there's a skit or bit where that's called the hypnotic orgasm. And sometimes it's triggered by a handshake. And it's literally called the handshake orgasm. And sometimes it can just be, you know, on the count of 3 or however the hypnotist wants to play it out. When I've seen or done the hypnotic orgasm skit, the audience goes crazy. They love it.
Do they wonder whether it's real?
So my guess is that most people do not think that the hypnotic orgasm is real. In fact, I'll even tell you this. There was a very famous stage hypnotist that recently, somebody had mentioned it in one of the Facebook groups, had actually said, "You don't think that's real, do you?" And you know, I should explain that is because it's this suggestion that's given, and so the hypnotist will say, "When I shake your hand, you will have a mind-blowing, you know, orgasm." You know, I was sort of in the same belief as a lot of people, like, well, probably they're just faking. And honestly, there could be some people that, well, I mean, just like in real life, people will fake an orgasm, right? So there could be people that are faking it, but I do think that there is a certain amount of those volunteers that are having an actual orgasm. And if you watch it, they could be a good actor, but they really seem into it. Definitely.
Perhaps the closest thing currently to an expert on erotic hypnosis is Manchester's Kaz Riley. Riley trains people to become erotic hypnotists and is presenting at the conference. She initially had a tough go of this, as erotic hypnosis has been controversial here, partially because for ethical reasons, hypnotherapists don't want to be associated with a sexual practice.
It is true that people can have orgasms without being touched using hypnosis. I have seen many people, both men and women, actually change by going through this process, because our sexuality is so fundamental to being human. You know, it's right up there with needing to eat, needing to drink. It makes us, doesn't it, you know? So I think if somebody has been in a situation where they haven't embraced that, or they haven't been able to, or they've had to put it one side for whatever reason, when they go through this process and they become really in touch with what they feel, what they experience, the sensations, you see them really blossom. And what you often see happen is they become really comfortable with themselves and their sexuality. And then as a side effect of that, if you're then comfortable with yourself and your sexuality, that then also has impacts on everything else that you do, whether that's your partner, you know, your relationships, your work, because something that in the past you might have been really repressed and uncomfortable with suddenly becomes something to be really celebrated and enjoyed. And what's better than that in life, really, you know?
Kaz Riley says she has just scratched the surface of exploring the therapeutic possibilities of erotic hypnosis. This form of hypnosis was not discovered in a lab or invented by scientists. It likely came about as a risky late-night stunt at stage hypnosis shows. The performer most known for doing it is Salish the hypnotist.
It started off with, I believe it was an orgasmic handshake. And then, we try to create different things. Like now you're having orgasm in the opposite sex. Now it's been multiplied by 10.
Let's multiply this by 10.
Do you have a sense that you were showing something, some aspect of human nature that people didn't know existed to the world?
I don't believe they thought it was possible. But as people looked at it, they could tell it wasn't staged or faked because it was intense and it was real. To a point where, that video made me world famous.
It's interesting because, we can see it from the funny point of view, but I mean, if you think about it, that could be helpful for therapeutic purposes, right? I mean, really, what a great, or stress relief, if nothing else, stress relief, right? You just...
Because all that somebody shakes your hand, you have an orgasm.
Exactly, yeah.
You're having a bad day. Public does not even know, in your opinion, that hypnotic orgasms exist.
Right.
Two, do they think if they do know they exist, do they think they're real?
I would guess no, because most people don't think hypnosis is real, So they're and I get it, because when you see the stuff that we can do on stage, when we can make somebody believe that they're, a famous singer, then they think, well, you could never do that to me, and it may not be, because not everyone can be hypnotized the same way. So maybe it wouldn't happen for them. But also, a lot of people, as a hypnotist, we know that most people think they can't be hypnotized, when the truth is most people can be hypnotized. But everybody seems to, well, I can't be hypnotized. I'm not, but most of us are. I've been doing shows for a couple of years, and I kind of was in this opinion, like, well, maybe they're just kind of faking it. I don't know. These people up on stage, it looks pretty real, but maybe they're faking it. And so I did, because a common bit that I would do was, on the count of 3, your penis is missing, right? And so it always gets, of course the audience goes crazy. They love that. And I did it one night, and the guy literally started crying. These were tears, real, actual tears, started crying when he came out of it. And of course the audience erupted. They thought it was hilarious, and I felt bad. I also laughed a bit myself, but I felt terrible. And so I, immediately, put him back down. It'll be bigger and better than ever before. And so it worked out okay. But, if you ask somebody, if I asked somebody, hey, do you think I could make your nose go missing, or your penis, belly button? They'd go, no, but it can. It absolutely can. It's way more powerful than people believe it is.
For Christine Funk, who had never tried hypnosis before, hypnotic sexuality was certainly powerful. She was starting to feel her complexion change, even her body transform, and 2 of her favorite things, laughter and orgasms, combined when she discovered the laughgasm. Montreal hypnotist Dominique Laroche and I started a project to try and understand the mystery of hypnotic orgasms. It seemed to be off most people's radar. Even sex researchers and scientists often knew nothing about it, and a lot of people simply thought it was fake. Dominique is an inquiring documentary filmmaker and a black belt in karate. Her take was that the human body was naturally built for pleasure, and that a particular hypnotic trance could release it. So we opened up a workshop where people could try different hypnotic altered states, including orgasms. A lot of people were interested. Because people seemed to glow when they experienced them, the Bloom Project was born. How do these states work? What are they about? How do you create them reliably and ethically?
We are born naked. We are born for pleasure. We're born to touch ourselves and create and transmute this sexual energy. That is in everything. If you look in nature right now, like these plants, they're having sex. They're blooming all the time, you know?
To be totally relaxed. And this is my place tonight, is to make sure that you, by following my voice, will become more and more relaxed, and you will experience a very enjoyable trance.
So what did I think of this? I saw everybody going into the state of trance, and I was kind of scared that I wouldn't get into it because I'm not a person that's obedient at all. I don't listen to anybody at all. And just magic, everything you're telling me was just feeling it and feeling it. It was really something.
I breathe in, I was like, relax, 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 and then get rid of stress. And then I got deeper, just because I wanted to focus on it.
The feeling is different. But it can be as strong. The orgasm in a trance can be as strong, even if nobody is touching you. And this is so powerful, because what does it say? It comes from inside.
Scientists don't fully understand orgasms. The biology behind them is surprisingly complex. Newer research is showing that orgasms don't just feel good, they're good for you. Studies suggest that orgasms can increase feelings of self-confidence, improve sleep, strengthen the immune system, help with skin health and fertility, and even seemingly promote longevity. During orgasm, the brain releases a cocktail of potent neurochemicals, including dopamine, oxytocin, and prolactin, all associated with pleasure, reward, and bonding. The Bloom workshop had a clear protocol. The process is explained, and then people are asked for their consent. They can ask to stop or drop out anytime. People seem intrigued by what is possible by using hypnosis to open doors to altered states like bliss, calm, laughter, and orgasm. In the workshop, we discover there is a specific deep trance that is most likely to produce hypnotic orgasms. Not everyone can get into that trance, and it usually requires the person be a good hypnotic subject. When people have hypnotic orgasms, they tend to flush, and the muscles of their abdomen appear to almost move on their own. We are often amazed. Then we head to Paris. This is where Anton Mesmer first introduced hypnosis to the world.
But when we do hypnosis, we go, here's you tense, here's you relaxed. We're really trying to go deep. And the only thing you want to do is do whatever is relaxing you the most.
In Paris, a different workshop group also has surprising results. The strategy here is to try to create deep relaxation, to open the door to deep trance. Here, we discovered that groups of people can easily have orgasms at the same time. Some can have several orgasms in a row. We discovered that orgasms can be started and then stopped, and then continued again. This is intriguing, as it seems like with the person's consent, you could alter the meaning of an orgasm midstream.
And it almost feels like it comes in this direction. You know, I suppose when you go to church, it's supposed to come in this direction, but it really feels like it comes in this direction.
Come through my hair, to my head, to my chest, and my body follow.
I had many orgasms of different varieties and intensities, and they just kept coming along, and I was carried away on that energy. and it was expansive and fantastic.
One person who doesn't always seem to be enjoying the orgasm part of the workshop is Marcia Perry. She says she's virtually never had an orgasm, and she isn't sure she ever will. But she is good at going into trance.
This thing between my legs is broken. I've had so much trouble in bed. Everything starts from me. I mean, I already have 2 kids, and I didn't take the time to enjoy the experience. So just recently, I found a partner that is actually very responding to me. He makes me want to trust him. So, but every time I find myself battling with whatever's in my mind, and at some point I was like, "Why are you thinking?" And then I just shut off, and then it comes back, and then so it ruins the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I used to feel a lot of shame. A lot of shame being a woman, a lot of shame just having a vagina. I used to think it would be better if I was a guy, honestly.
Together, why don't we take a deep breath in? Just take a deep breath in towards the ceiling. Hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just let the breath drop. Good. Second deep breath in. Hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even deeper, 4. Even deeper, 3, 2, 1. And because you requested the ability just to see if you can come back out, in a few seconds, you'll be able to, on your own volition, come back out. But then when you go back in, you're going to go back in deeper. Deeper and relaxed. You're going to come out in 3. And I snap my fingers. 2. On your own volition, you're just going to come right back out. 1. Good. And now on the count of 3, 2, 1. Deeper, relax. Deeper and deeper each time. Let go of any tensions that are in your shoulders. Now. Let go of any tensions that are in your arms. Now. Let go of any tensions in your mouth or your jaw. Now. In this very relaxed state, let us have an opportunity to express our appreciation for you. You are incredibly beautiful. You are incredibly rare. You are incredibly wonderful. 5, 4. When I snap my fingers, it's going to happen to you. 3, 2, 1. Now. Feels twice as good. 5 times as good. Now. 10 times as good. Now. 100 times as good. Now. 1,000 times as good. Now. Times as good.
Wow. Thanks, I remember that one. I'm still shaking. So being able to feel all that through my body, for me, would have been impossible. And I was sure that I wasn't gonna feel it, and that this bullshit is not gonna work. And I felt it. And for this time, like, no, this is like really, this is a box that is like closed and there's like lockers on it. He's not going to be able to, take them off. But compared to the experience with a live person, I would be one that would say that it's better.
How do you feel now?
I feel so powerful. I feel like I own myself.
One of the people attending the Bloom Project workshop is neuroscientist Jim Faust, who is an international expert on orgasm.
I haven't seen hypnosis before. I've seen it on television and on videos and whatnot, but I think there's no better indicator of the idea that your brain is what is creating pleasure, creating pain, creating all the states that you experience. It's not the external world is what acts on you, but it's your brain that interprets that. And I think the fact that you could get this out of people, right, just by suggestion is, I think, a really significant thing. Why does it matter that it's your brain? Because, orgasms are supposed to be generated by your genitals and by genital contact. So the fact that you could get people to experience an orgasm, and a really good one, I think is phenomenal in the sense that it really says that your brain is what interprets it.
How do you know it was real?
Well, I have to say, obviously there's probably about 0.1% of me that would say, gee, you're right, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if what I saw wasn't just a bunch of actors. I don't think so. The fact that someone who has not experienced orgasm is able to have a pleasurable sensation that runs through her body like a waterfall is phenomenal. As an observer of behavior, to watch the differences in the behavior and the commonalities, right? You saw the commonality of the pelvic movements, right? And the pelvic floor muscle contractions that people were getting. And everybody thrust their head back. Okay? Because, this is something people do. It's not just what porn actors do. People actually do this. I could imagine, this could be potentially harnessed as treatments for some kinds of depression, right? Especially the experience of the kind of pleasure we saw tonight. Marital therapy, right? Between couples that haven't looked at each other and don't talk to each other and certainly don't touch each other and don't gaze at each other or haven't in a while. Well, now you can bring them back into each other's bodies, each other's gazes, each other's mirror neurons, each other's sensibilities.
I don't think I possess extraordinary capabilities, and I'm not an expert on sexuality. But from a hypnosis point of view, even though this is not easy, it's not extremely difficult either. This is likely something that an experienced hypnotist could be trained to do. A surprisingly high percentage of the population is anorgasmic, meaning they've never had an orgasm in their lives. Could this process help? Then Professor Faust told us something surprising. There has never been a scientific study of hypnotic orgasms, but in his opinion, there should be, urgently. If orgasm was in the mind and not in the genitals, what difference would that make? It means that anything the mind could do, imagine, feel, strive, heal, fly, cry, maybe orgasms could do too. Back in Austria, Christine Funk begins exploring weekly hypnotic orgasms. One of the intriguing aspects of hypnotic bliss states is that they can be scheduled regularly. Christine begins to notice a change.
So what happened to my face when I started the hypnotic sessions? I realized immediately after the sessions that I had a very nice blush and very, very nice skin tone in my face was also very heated up. And the day after, I woke up almost wrinkly free, which was very nice. Like this glow stayed for some days. And even my voice was a bit lower after the sessions. I think it was true because the diaphragm was very active and came back in the very relaxed shape after the sessions. My skin also improved because usually I have my period pimples and they were much less. My friends noticed the glow and my radiant eyes. They thought, "Are you in love?" And I was like, no, yes, of course I'm in love with my boyfriend, but so I noticed the change too. I noticed it immediately when I went to the bathroom after the hypnosis session. I immediately noticed, oh, my eyes shine bright.
Meanwhile, back at the Bloom Project, the results were becoming more dramatic. It was clear that people could have full-on orgasmic experiences while remaining in control. New volunteers were often surprised by the results.
I was very shocked that I could actually experience an orgasm. I felt like that was not going to happen. It was something that, no, I don't think that's possible. However, when it did, it was a different level, and I was able to explore and go deeper. It didn't necessitate any touching. I was able to go deep in my mind and explore my body and what I wanted to experience. I had complete control. However, I was able to let go in a way that I felt safe. And it was pleasurable and safe at the same time. What I felt afterwards was release. I felt light. I felt happy.
While it might seem like hypnotic orgasms are solo, the Bloom Project discovers that they could be powerful experiences for couples as well.
My name is Joseph Friedrich Kaz. I go by Joey Joyful often. I discovered hypnosis a while back when I was looking to help become sober. Actually, I recognized I was stuck in my head and I was identifying with problems. And somebody taught me hypnosis. I studied hypnosis. I became fascinated with hypnosis. We don't really understand the processes, but it would be interesting to explore the processes in relation to this. So I was wondering, I was asking myself actually, how could I become more comfortable and confident in my body? I never really loved my body when I was younger. So I'm the third brother, younger brother, and my older brothers are more physical, more athletic. And I've always been the sensitive, intellectual type. And I never felt comfortable in my body. I almost felt as if I was a heart and a mind, but not a body. And I had a car accident as well, which gave me chronic pain. So I didn't like my body. I was not in tune with it at all. And allowing for the energy to circulate through the body with these experiences has helped me a lot to reclaim my body, fall in love with it again, and actually take care of it better. And since I started exploring with hypnotic processes into hypnotic orgasms and whatnot, I recognized that I wasn't afraid anymore. So often people would wonder, is it fake? Is it a fake orgasm because it's hypnotic orgasm? And there are certain signs that show up when you have true orgasms, and they were all present when I was having the hypnotic orgasm experience. And it wasn't genitalia. It was like a full body shaking experience that really just opened myself up. I was wondering to myself, am I actually living this on my own, or is it possible to open up to somebody else with a hypnotic orgasm? And obviously I have a history with my partner, and we invited my partner over into the workshop. And initially it was an individual process, but then we focused on how can we make a space or an experience together. And we actually felt as if we created an area that we're able to go back into throughout our lives, and not only in sexual intercourse, but just throughout our lives. It's as if that space exists that we're able to connect with, and we feel safe when we're there. And it's something that can, that sort of influenced our relationship. It became softer It became more, I don't know, I can't say more real because it was real before, but there's more depth to it. What I found the most interesting with the experience with my wife is we were guided into feeling as if we were floating in space, and we truly were floating in space, and just her and I together in a bubble, a protective bubble where we could explore together a new frontier, sort of forgetting who we were, not thinking of who we would become, but just really experiencing the moment together. And it was in multiple levels. It wasn't just physical, obviously. It was very emotional, very ethereal. It's interesting to discover that we're not only having the experience together, but we're almost feeling the other person as well, because we're so open, and we know in science that when we're close together and we're in coherence, the hearts mingle, beating, and the brains sync up as well. And it's almost as if our orgasms synced up as well during that experience. A lot of people believe or would ask, is this a solo experience? I actually believe it would be very helpful in therapeutic sessions, settings, I should say, for people that maybe have difficulties with their physical body. This opens up a space where they can encounter themselves and encounter their partner in something that they can share together. It's helped me. It's helped me become more in control of myself in bed, but in life as well, because there's a confidence that comes with knowing how to experience hypnotic orgasms. I used to feel shame sometimes around sexual pleasures and solo pleasures or with somebody else. And this actually helped me release all of that. You're allowing yourself to bloom and blossom because, I mean, we're physical beings, we're sensual beings. And I think we should all have the ability to connect with that.
One of the things that surfaces in the Bloom Project is the apparent diversity of orgasms. While in regular life, most people would probably report just a handful of orgasmic types, it seems like in trance, people can experience a wide array.
Some people climb mountains. Some people are looking for difficult challenges. What if the key is within?
In trance, it appears orgasms could be slow or fast, hot or cold, soft or strong, dry or wet, even in slow motion, inside or outside. Because she felt so at peace after her orgasms, Christine Funk began exploring the wide variety of orgasms that might be available. In fact, it became a bit of a cause.
I'm on a mission to experience and explore every possible kind of orgasm on this planet. No one ever has done this before, and I'm the right woman to do it. It might help so many people, help disabled, sexually frustrated, women, elderly, sick people, and it might even stop war on this planet. That's why I say, make orgasms, not war.
Make orgasms, not war.
So there are so many different kinds of orgasms I experienced under hypnosis. For example, the fall orgasm, where I just fall back and experience an explosion in my body. I experienced the windgasm, a kissgasm, an eye-gasm. So there are so many different kinds of orgasm. Even a float-gasm, me flowing in the water. It's really, really amazing. So is it possible to have a musical orgasm? Yes, the techno-gasm. For example, we took the Hallelujah, everyone knows, and every time the Hallelujah showed up, it would make me explode.
Hallelujah. Orgasms, not war.
The heavy metal gasm.
Orgasms, not war.
Not only could Christine have different kinds of orgasms, she could have orgasms as different kinds of people.
Mangasm, where a felt like a man during sex, which is really crazy, but so much fun. Oh my God. When I had the man-gasm, I experienced this power, this strength, because usually when I have a orgasm, I feel less very comfortable with myself. When I had my man-gasm, I felt like, yes, I showed the world that I'm a man and I'm here. And
Feeling like a man-gasm.
In trance, it appears you can even have an orgasm while flying. Funk is not the only orgasmic woman with a cause. Estonian yoga teacher and sex educator Caroline Sarsky came to the Bloom Project with a fascinating story. She herself was anorgasmic, never having an orgasm well into her 20s. She felt like it was destroying her life. She began a journey to become orgasmic, using trance states available in yoga, though Caroline says she almost went too far.
So I first started having these orgastic states in situations that were non-sexual, and they were not induced by me or controlled by me. They just happened. So for example, I was in a headstand and suddenly my body just went into this orgasm and I had to come down and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And after some time it started happening in some other yoga postures, and then maybe watching a movie, like I was watching alone, completely non-sexual context. I was watching a movie, went into this whole body orgasm, like I was screaming, and then when the lightning stopped, like I stopped and I was like, whoa, what just happened? It was really strange for me as well to have these things, or sometimes when I would have some food in a specific restaurant, like I ate it and it's like suddenly you start feeling these things. And I guess it's just becoming familiar with this energy or what's happening in your body. Like your body learns it.
When Caroline started teaching people to become more orgasmic, many people thought she was faking it, possibly because she had so many. Partly because of that, Caroline was motivated to pioneer a field of sexual research. She inspired research looking for a blood test that could determine whether orgasms are real or not.
An hour, and then take the third blood sample.
Caroline is now on a mission to help non-orgasmic women.
My mission is to get all world's women orgastic. Because I know it's possible, and because I feel it's so important for the healing for the world. Because when I just look at myself, how I used to be so uptight, so closed, so not sexually open, and what my life quality was then and what it is now, and how I feel in my body and how I feel as a woman, and how I interact and how I relate, it's so different. And I see all these women who have these sexual problems, who are closed, and I know they can open up, and I know if a woman's open sexually, then her heart opens, and we need it for the healing of the world.
Together, we wrote a list of orgasms that might be possible, and in a very short stretch of time, attempted to see if Caroline could experience them, one after another. Then, with her consent, Caroline was put into an hypnotic trance. We were all amazed by what happened. Stop. Very good. And now you're going to continue with the same orgasm. Now. And now. Stop.
It's a lot of orgasm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was never. Holy cow.
I hope you're not too exhausted.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I was
Some of these, like, for example, did you really have a slow motion orgasm?
I did have a slow motion orgasm. That was so cool. It was super slow. Like everything was happening, but it was slow motion, and I was so aware and so present, and oh, it was amazing to have slow motion orgasm. What has changed in my life after I've learned to orgasm like this? Well, I would say everything has changed. My whole life perception has changed. My physical health is much better. My emotional health is much better. I'm much more calm and balanced. I don't get stressed out so much. Just more self-confident, just seeing life in a more, I don't know, harmonious, happy ways.
There's a good reason why people think hypnotic orgasms are fake. They seem impossible. They can be triggered by just the snap of someone's fingers. They require no contact. People who aren't orgasmic can become orgasmic. People who are orgasmic can become multi-orgasmic. People who can only have one kind of orgasm can have many diverse kinds. Hypnotic sexuality also breaks the rules of conventional sexuality. According to scientific research, it takes most people a near absolute minimum of 13 minutes to arrive at orgasm. However, the Bloom Project experiment suggests it could be faster, much faster.
I want to show you that it is possible to have an orgasm in 1 minute. Is that okay? Claire, is that okay with you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start the clock in a few seconds, and then we'll see what happens. Count of 5, 4, here, starting the clock, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm just going to ask you to take a deep, deep breath in, deep and relax, and let go and go into a relaxing, deep sleep. Deeper and deeper sleep. Double sleep. Now, triple sleep all the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, into a very relaxing, like you do imagine you're in a warm, warm hot tub. Not too hot, but beautifully warm. And as you melt into this tub, there's a beautiful feeling of pleasure that's going the other way. Up your toes, up your body, up, swelling into a beautiful feeling in the middle of your body. As it swells stronger, stronger, and stronger, you will find you will explode into a beautiful Bloom orgasm in 10, 9, stronger, 8, 7, 6, beautiful rush, 6, you can feel your heart beating, 5, 4, 3, 2, and now. Beautiful, that's right. There you go, now feel it. I think it was around 51 seconds or so. Beautiful, beautiful. You are beautiful and amazing.
It is magic.
Naturally, most people who saw this believe it was fake. Hypnosis has existed for centuries, yet it remains strangely mysterious. Many people fear it, worried about mind control, or perhaps they are threatened by their own unconscious. Experts often blame Hollywood, which has often portrayed hypnosis as powerful, dangerous, even sinister. Part of the confusion is there's never been a total model to explain it, but let me give it a try. In every 24-hour cycle, we live two lives, one in waking, one in dreaming. But there's also a third state, trance, hypnosis. In my first TEDx talk, I proposed a controversial idea, not entirely my own, but I was perhaps the first to be able to present it in a public forum.
Is to use the stereotype of a hypnotist, somebody uses a pendulum that goes back and forth, but that pendulum going back and forth is doing something particular to the eyes. Let's do a little bit of an experiment. I'm just going to ask you just to look at my finger, right? Watch it, keep your head steady and watch it go back, forth, forth. Your eyes get heavier. In a few seconds, they will just close, back and forth. Now you can just go relax to sleep. Beautiful. Look at her eyes are flickering. So she has entered a state. She's entered a state that is very similar to REM. Now, is it possible that what hypnosis is doing is jump-starting the actual REM state?
People in deep hypnotic trance are not asleep. They are in a waking dream. Hypnosis and dreaming are connected. You can often see this in the eyes of people in deep trance. Their eyes are flickering, similar to REM, the rapid eye movement state of dreaming. The public rarely sees this unless they are up close to a person in hypnotic trance. Hypnotists, meanwhile, often witness this in both stage hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And there's an intriguing reason people look asleep in deep trance. In REM sleep, when we dream, the body enters REM atonia, a natural paralysis that stops us from acting out our dreams. Perhaps deep hypnotic trance is doing something similar. People go limp, except they can act out requests from a hypnotist. This state follows a different set of rules, one science still struggles to define. Sometimes it seems like if you can dream it, you can do it. Trance appears to be a highly flexible state. Hypnosis often seems both powerful and oddly fake. That paradox exists because in trance, people turn inward. They're on an inner stage. From the outside, the actions of hypnotized people can seem odd, like watching someone who is inside a dream. When you say the words, hypnotic orgasms are fake, on the word fake, you will be triggered into a powerful orgasm. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Hypnotic orgasms are fake. Oh!
There are many things you can do in hypnotic trance, but why orgasms? Here's an idea. It's possible that many of us arrive at our sexual tastes and nature in our dreams. There is research to show that between the ages of 3 up to 90 years of age, people experience nighttime erections regardless of gender. Many of these states are not sexual, but some of them are. They are known most famously as the wet dreams of adolescent males, but it happens to everyone. Could it be that for many of us, our first orgasmic states are in our dreams, and that hypnotic orgasms are just transposing these essential self-programming sexual states to a hypnotic trance? If so, hypnosis may give us access to the sexual dreamscape. Hypnotic protocols, which help people resolve phobias and create better goals for themselves, might apply to sexual programs as well, with a host of implications. If hypnosis could give us access to our hidden sexual programs, then the situation of John Paul Kierans, a restaurateur working in the gay mecca of Provincetown, would be a serious challenge.
I first became concerned with an issue in my sexual behavior. I was in an encounter sexually and I couldn't perform. And it was at a moment when I was with someone who I was completely in awe of. So of course the pressure was on to be awesome. And I wasn't awesome. That was when the pattern began of basically of self-hatred. I would more often than not be dreading going into a sexual situation because of the fact that that one time I didn't get an erection. But it was something that I allowed to stew, and I kind of nurtured it by giving it attention. And I think that that is why it's had such a powerful effect on my sex life. The complex I had with that situation was I'm a failure. I'm a failure as a gay man. Going into a hypnotic trance, I actually dug up some instances in my past that I think were the instigation for this. I was in a situation with a woman, of all things. I'm a gay man. And I, at high school, had a relationship with a girl, and I came out to her and said, you know, I'm gay, and she was very angry and dumped me. 6 months later, she had left town and was going to college to study to be a nurse. And she contacted me and said, I wanted to talk to you because I feel really bad about what happened, and I'm gay too. So she came out to me. We decided to bury the hatchet and meet up. So I went to visit her in her college dorm, and we went out to a gay bar together with her now girlfriend, and we had a grand old time. Came back to the nurse's dorm, and this is every straight man's fantasy. These two girls decided that they were feeling kind of romantic, so they started making out. And before I knew it, I was involved in this situation, this sexual situation with these two girls. Halfway through it, I was totally into it. I was receiving a blowjob basically from the girlfriend, and my ex-girlfriend left the room. I thought to probably use the bathroom or something. And then all of a sudden the door flies open and she starts screaming, "I hate you," and kicks me full in the face while I'm almost at the point of coming, basically. And that was the most horrendous experience, as you can imagine. 5 minutes are just a blur of screaming and blood and stars in front of my eyes because I had been kicked so hard. I experienced a dramatic and unplanned loss of an erection, pain, feelings of failure and betrayal. And it kind of made sense that that was probably the event that created this issue. That was aha moment. Like, oh my God, that. I was able during hypnosis to create a different ending.
When I snap my fingers, you're gonna freeze and hold it. Now, freeze the orgasm, hold it. Now it's gonna start again when I snap my fingers. Now. Beautiful.
That was a real trigger. My body just said, "This is what you should. This is what you should be doing."
It's sort of what Provincetown is doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And this process is doing that. Oh my goodness! I don't know where we came from. But it's all good. It's really all good.
And didn't you feel like no stress? It's just like
no stress
yeah,
at
I
all.
let my body experience. I embrace it and fuck the rest.
Yeah.
Right?
It was exactly that.
Yeah.
To stand up and say, look, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna be me.
Allowed me to take away the power of that event, and I think it's cleared the way for improvements.
There is currently an underground for erotic hypnosis. Online hypnotists and sex workers offer erotic hypnosis sessions. There are discreet erotic hypnosis conventions in hotels around the world. But the lack of awareness has also produced predators, as well as hypnotists who use erotic hypnosis for power over others. That inspired hypnotherapist Linda Nelson to hold a seminar on the ethics of erotic hypnosis at major hypnosis conferences.
People were very good about participating, but one of the main reasons I wanted to do it was to kind of bring along the idea of consent and negotiation, because that really bothers me that when people are manipulative about erotic hypnosis, it's a really powerful technique and it's very enjoyable for everybody. But I think the more people can get consent, the more women know about this and what their responsibilities are, what the hypnotist's responsibilities are, everybody can enjoy it. Let's talk a little bit about covert hypnosis. Like when you meet somebody and you go to an event and you see this pretty girl in the elevator, or you see a pretty pretty handsome guy in the elevator, and you want to hit on them, and you've learned these great seduction techniques and you think they're really cool and you want to try them. How do you guys feel about that? But people that talk about covert hypnosis talk about it as how to pick up women. And I get that they want women and maybe they don't know that there's other ways to do it. I'll give them that much. But to me, it's predatory. And when you're talking about manipulating somebody so that they will go to bed with you, that's a problem. And I think more people are practicing this in their bedroom. And so that is, to me, a good thing, because it's taking things out into the open and letting people talk about it. And by talking about it, you can shatter those myths.
What are the benefits that you've seen of erotic hypnosis?
People's relationships deepen. People who are distant, who are separated by distance for whatever reason, couples that have to live apart, it enhances that. I've seen people take, a lot of times people have fantasies and they don't want to talk about it with each other. Hypnosis kind of takes some of that away, and because of the nature of it, they're able to experience things without actually physically doing them, so they can kind of put on a little bit of that kind of the fantasy clothes. In a professional setting, and this is what I do use it for professionally, is there are women who have, and that's my passion, is women. I will help men too, but there are women that have not ever felt that kind of sexual pleasure, the intensity of an orgasm. They don't want to, because there's different reasons. There's cultural, and then there's abuse issues, and then there's things like, I have my family that I've been taking care of, so I kind of let that sit on the back burner. So there's those reasons. Using erotic hypnosis can help those women get back in touch with those. In the case where they have never felt sexual pleasure, there's techniques that I use, regression, and help them get in touch with what that pleasure would feel like, and they are eventually able to feel that kind of sexual pleasure. My main goal in doing discussions like this is to open up a conversation. Because once you start talking about things, it's out of the closet, people are talking about it, and they'll come up with their own ethical boundaries.
There is always the risk of a predatory element. I think with any sexual kind of practice, there's always a predatory element. I think if we can be really open and honest about the uses of hypnosis and the safety, take away some of the taboos. I think a lot of it is about people believe that they can be really controlled. They can be, but with their consent. But sometimes people don't realise that they're giving consent just by their belief systems, if you like. I think in terms of covert hypnosis, which is out there. You know, advertisers use it all the time, but it's like anything, you know, things can be used well and things can be used badly. People don't necessarily realise that they're being taken into trance or hypnotized. So I think if we are open and honest about these things, if we bring it into the public awareness, then what happens is we're able to kind of look after people more in those situations, so it becomes an enjoyable thing rather than a feared thing.
Hopefully everybody that's in my discussions will go out and tell other women that, yeah, you don't have to do that. If something makes you feel uncomfortable, you can walk away, you can just come out of trance. I mean, there's no reason you have to stay in a situation you don't feel comfortable with just because somebody says, hey, you have to listen to what I do because I'm the hypnotist. So you shatter some of those belief systems and give those women that kind of power. It makes them more able to navigate this world.
Until now, Christine Funk requires a hypnotist to get her into the trance that creates hypnotic orgasm. But Funk discovers a way to possibly get there herself.
One day I really tried to find a way to put myself into deep trance. And because I like it fast and effective, I searched YouTube. And I found this beautiful way of induction. It's called the hug induction. And I tried it and it worked.
Hello, Namaskar. My name is Bhaskar Puri. And today I'm sharing with you a technique on self-hypnosis. Take both your hands and gaze upon any palm of any hand. For me, I'm going to do it on my right. Cross 3 times. 1. Keep gazing on it. 2. And 3. Now slowly bring your palm towards your forehead. And exhale deeply and relax.
So you focus on one hand, follow with your eyes. I do it 3 times. Then I roll my eyes up as I inhale. Go really, really up, that it looks really, really scary.
So when my hands cross, I feel I get ready to go into trance. And then I roll up my eyes. It's a weird moment between being like present and unconscious. And as I close my eyes, I feel completely relaxed. I feel my eyes are flickering.
And as you relax, you exhale and go into sleep.
When I go into trance, I feel very relaxed, very calm. I can feel my heartbeat slowing down. I feel very comfortable and safe.
So I will count myself down from 10 to 1 in my own timing. And when I reach 1, I will have a beautiful
blissgasm.
What do you feel right now?
I feel very calm and I feel I don't want to open my eyes. Just want to stay in this wonderful, peaceful moment.
5,
4,
I feel my breathing is slowing down.
3, 2, 1.
I feel this is like a portal to enter a different world.
Christine discovers that what makes hypnotic trance so deeply mysterious, the white eyes of deep trance, once feared as signs of possession, may in fact be a doorway to something else entirely. The average person has no idea hypnotic orgasms exist. Sexuality researchers had barely heard of them. Could hypnotic orgasms be used to treat anorgasmia? If orgasms are really in the brain and not in the genitals, then could it also help people with certain disabilities? And even help people who've experienced genital mutilation? They also might benefit skin health, complexion, and even be used as a weight loss tool. There is virtually no science to show the phenomena exists. Could deep hypnotic trance even open a doorway to our mysterious sexual codes? That's when Christine Funk joined the experiment. She had now trained in hypnosis. She, along with the hypnotists of the Bloom Project, all feel we are in possession of an important secret that should be shared with the world. The public is still unaware of it, and many, of course, believe it to be fake. Maybe we're just fooling ourselves into believing it's really happening. Not only that, the Bloom Project found that only part of the population, perhaps a quarter, could easily enter the trance state needed for hypnotic orgasm. But then came a surprise. A study from Northwestern University suggested something radical. All sexual arousal may be a form of trance. What does this suggest? Anyone who's been sexually aroused has already been hypnotized, whether they know it or not. Suddenly, a research study into hypnotic orgasms was greenlit at the Czech National Institute of Mental Health in Prague. Professor Jim Faust, the same neuroscientist who witnessed the Bloom Project sessions in the early days, designs the experiment. It's partly built on research pioneered by Caroline Sarsky.
We are trying to see for the very first time if hypnotically induced orgasms are essentially real from a physiological standpoint. Yeah? I mean, clearly they're real from people's bodily reactions to them, things you see like pelvic movements and abdominal movements and different facial features that are consistent with orgasm. But the big question here is, will prolactin increase? Because you can't fake that.
Previous sexuality research shows that in the event of an orgasm, there is a predictable and unambiguous spike in the hormone prolactin, a hormone associated with breastfeeding mothers and dream states.
That is a gold standard for orgasm, right? So if you're seeing that happening, and prolactin's going up, and it's happening at the same time as orgasm, yeah, they had an orgasm.
The experiment requires that volunteers be blood tested before and after a hypnotic orgasm to see if hormone levels change.
People have an indwelling catheter into their cubital vein, right, with the one that normally you have blood taken from. Now, why before? Because that's a control, nothing's happened. The one after is the one we're after.
However, there was a problem. Suddenly, we needed to find volunteers. We needed brave people who would respond well to hypnosis in a very rapid time frame and are willing to possibly experience orgasms in front of strangers in Prague. But where do we find them? How do we know if they will respond? Then an answer became clear. Stage hypnosis. Stage hypnosis shows will often bring out people open to hypnosis and hypnotic trance. It was showtime.
Hypnosis is not the preserve of hypnotists or hypnotherapists even. It is the common, massive, and amazing inheritance of all humanity. And that's something that the world needs to know.
We did small hypnosis shows in locations around the city and found a few volunteers open to the idea. We did some demonstrations of hypnotic orgasms.
Now,
And more candidates came forward. We did a demonstration of the 30-second orgasm at a launch party for a famous Czech magazine publisher on an island in the Vltava River.
Beautiful, deep in the pose of 5.
And more candidates came forward. The experiment was on. We now use the same approaches developed by the Bloom Project. First, the hypnotist tries to create deep relaxation by hypnotic induction. Then, with the consent of the subject, relaxation is linked to bliss. The principle here is that if the person becomes blissfully relaxed, the orgasm occurs naturally. The first few volunteers did not respond. But then, the finger snaps increase the effect until people reach something that could be orgasm. Something was happening. One volunteer even laughed his way to
And
orgasm.
he explained it like this, that the laughter created the pleasure, and the more pleasure he felt, the funnier it was for him. So the laughter, it was on top, on top, on top, triple, double the pleasure.
Six, 5, 4, 3, twice as strong, 2, 1, now. Yes. Yes, you can laugh. You can laugh your way home. Yes. 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 Good. Yes. 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 Good. Ooh, yes. Good. As I count you down now.
What does it feel like? Good. I mean, like it's a lot of fun. That I mean, like it's doubling himself because I laughing, and through it I have an orgasm. So I laughing myself that I have an orgasm through laughing.
First of all, me as a hypnotic subject, it was a lot of fun. It was like the climax of all climaxes I experienced, because the hypnotist made me repeat and re-experience the whole process. All the highlights of this orgasmic journey. So I had a full orgasm again. Techno-orgasm. Mozartgasm, like the abdominal were moving like crazy. Like we really tried to push it to the limit to have really good prolactin rising. And I think we did it because it felt amazing.
What was clear was that these experiences looked like orgasms, acted like orgasms, sounded like orgasms, and felt like orgasms. But were they really orgasms? The blood tests would show. Although this is just a preliminary study, the blood tests are clear and dramatic. Every person who reported having a hypnotic orgasm showed a clear and consistent surge in prolactin levels, similar in principle to orgasms in conventional sex. The results of the experiment were presented to the European Society for Sexual Medicine at its annual congress in Vienna.
Are hypnotic orgasms real? From the standpoint of prolactin, yes. And that's the objective measure. Yeah?
Orgasms come to most people in their dreams, which may be why sexuality can feel so mysterious. Maybe there's a reason why some people report that hypnotic orgasms feel better than sex. Because maybe they're the original orgasms. Hypnotic orgasms, although they might seem exotic and even a novelty act, are more likely to be the original orgasm that helped program our sexual natures. And could understanding this seemingly bizarre aspect of human nature offer a new way to heal our intimate lives?
People who have not had orgasms because they're taking antidepressants, for example, people who have not had orgasms because they're getting older and it gets more difficult for them to do that. That has very real effects on relationship quality, on intimacy, right? If you could bring people with hypnosis to being closer to their orgasms, could potentially put that intimacy back in their relationships, right? And give them their sexuality back. And I think that's a really, really interesting and revolutionary idea.
Could a more orgasmic world be less warlike?
It's amazing because we can show the world this is real, this is something everybody needs. The whole world needs a big change. And with little things like laughter or orgasms, we could change the whole world to make it more peaceful.
And finally, I think this represents a new vista in the study of women's orgasms and potential therapeutic intervention for women with orgasm difficulties. And thank you so much for your attention.
Originally a black sheep, Kaz Riley would be invited to give the keynote address at the world's largest hypnosis conference. Caroline Sarsky continues to help women become more orgasmic. And you are watching the first ever documentary on the subject. And Christine Funk, the laughing queen of Austria, would have the last laugh.
Peace and laugh from Austria!